All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our council meeting for November the 24th. And a reminder to council to disclose any pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Hearing none, I will just pass it over to our, sorry.
Well, I did want to turn it into the clerks, so they have it on file. And when we get to it,
Okay. Turn it over to the clerk. She's got some information to provide before we approve the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We did have some presentation materials come in for Delegation 5A. If council will allow, I will display those materials if council will approve the agenda as amended.
All right, so do we have a mover and seconder to approve the agenda as amended? Todd and Smokey. Any questions on the agenda? Comments? Call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion's carried. Go to the minutes. Item number 3 on the agenda. Minutes for November the 10th. Moved by Rod. Second by Todd. Any questions on the minutes? Call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion's carried. Item 4 on the agenda is a public meeting. And it's clerk's report, and it's our fees and charges bylaw. So, Alex, do you have any comments before we go open the public meeting?
No comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions of Alex before we, our clerk, before we go to the public meeting? Hearing none, we will open the public meeting. Is there anyone in the chamber that wishes to comment on the fees and charges bylaw? Seeing none, we will go to remote. Anybody on?
nope, we're good. We're good.
There's no one to speak to the fees and charges bylaw. All right, we will go to the recommendation that in consideration of report C-25-27, 2026 fees and charges at the public meeting held on November 24th, 2025. Council directs staff to bring forward a bylaw to set fees and charges for the municipality of Northern Bruce Peninsula for passage at the December 8th, 2025 meeting. Mover and seconder for that, Rod, Smokey. Any questions? Call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion's carried. Item number B is a public meeting as well. It is, we have Jenn Burnett, Bruce County Planning. Application is Z 2025-064, West Rydall. And it is Lot 6, Concession West, the Prairie Road. Welcome, Jenn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a fairly straightforward application. Wes Rydall wants to create 2 lots from his 100-acre property off the Prairie Road. And so all the policies support what's being proposed. Council, through this zoning application, is being asked to reduce the required lot size for the retained lot. So he'll be creating 2 5-acre lots, and the retained lot will actually end up being deficient by about 6 acres. So you can see in the report, there is a site plan on the second page of the report that shows you where the lots are proposed. It doesn't have any impact really on the zoning. The lots meet the size and frontage requirements, as does the retained lot, but it just doesn't meet that minimum lot area. So the applicant, through the process, did submit an environmental impact study. And that because there are species at risk in the area that need to be protected, so that EIS had some recommendations to protect the species, and through that process, they delineated. They're basically 1-acre development envelopes, which are sufficient. There's enough space to develop. That's going to include the house, the driveway, the well, the septic and any accessory buildings that are permitted under zoning. So it's a reasonable application, and the mitigation measures from the EIS can be captured within site plan control, and that's something that we do see for capturing those environmental protections to make sure that they're implemented, just so that we can affirm that the application meets the required policy framework. There is a draft bylaw submitted for your consideration, and the next step, should council support the application, it'll go to the county secretary treasurer for approval of the creation of the 2 lots.
All right, any questions or comments for Jenn from council? I'm just looking at the site plan control conditions. And where the machinery has to be removed daily, is that?
Yeah, that's a recommendation for best practice, and that typically comes where because it's the rattlesnake habitat area. The idea there is to remove the machinery so that the snakes don't climb into the machinery, right? Because there's a warm engine, and so they may seek refuge up and through there, and it avoids any sort of conflict the next day or a couple of days later when the operator goes to run that machine. So it's
I've never seen that condition before, but
I've seen it once. And then the author of the report also indicated that is something that was agreed to by the ministry for another property in this municipality.
Yeah,
as a preventative measure.
Quite a job moving equipment.
Well,
No,
when you figure the likelihood, yeah, my dad was in construction, and the only time I saw rattlesnakes in a equipment was when you got $5 for turning the rattlesnakes into lions head clinic, and then they'd bring them in the back of the truck. But yeah, it seems a little, but what do I know?
you know. Anyway, that's what it is, and so there's no questions from council. We will open. It is a public meeting, so we will open the public meeting. Anyone in the chamber that wishes to speak to this zoning bylaw amendment? Seeing none, we'll go online. Anyone online? Somebody online for the public meeting? All right, we will close the public meeting, and we have a recommendation here. The council approves zoning bylaw amendment Z 2025-064 by West Rydall for lands identified as lot 6 concession west of the Bury Road. And there's a reference plan number there. And in the township of Eastner. Mover and seconder for that, Smokey. Todd? Any questions? Call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion's carried. All right, thank you, Jenn. Item number 5, good delegation, Freeman, Sweazy, residential snowplow services request. I guess we were to be circular, well, we didn't have this information. It's up on board here, up on the screen, so it was not circulated to us, just for your information.
My apologies for that.
All right, you're on. So yeah,
That's
welcome.
Pardon?
Welcome. You're ready to go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor McIver, Deputy Mayor Anderson, Councillor Dowd, Councillor Golden. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. So this is my wife Shelley Sweazy, and my name is Freeman Sweazy. It is. Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. I'll move closer. So, Just as per our presentation, our request here is to present to council for snow plowing services. Next slide, please. On October the 23rd, we through Rockridge Contracting sought a building permit to build a new house, a full year-round house at 141 North Shore Road in Lions Head. So in Barrow Bay, North Shore Road there. And so on December the 6th, with the residents nearing completion, I had, in snow falling, I reached out to the Public Works at the municipality and asked that they extend the snow plowing services from the current end of 125 North Shore Road to 141 North Shore Road. That's a distance of 160 meters. And so I spoke with the operations supervisor, and he said that a request had to go through council to obtain those services. And I said, well, sorry, I was unaware of that. I said that we had Public Works manager came out to the site. I wasn't there, but met with the contractor of James Scott of Rockridge Contracting and told us where to place the retaining wall based on the snowplow having access to it. So I just thought that it was just a request. And so he said he would check with the Public Works manager when he got back, and he would get back to me. Then on the Monday, on the December the 9th, I received a call from a staff member of the municipal office here, telling me that a request had to actually go into council for us to obtain those services. So, and then the next day, or that same day, I received a call from the chief building official and said that an omission had been made and it was neglected, that we needed to sign a no demand for services letter saying that we wouldn't be requesting services, which we didn't sign, and that was not presented to us. So she said that just with the obviously the request going to council, that would be something that would have to be done and it'd be registered against the property depending on the decision that was made at council. We still do not have a final occupancy permit as we wait for this. So on December the 10th of the evening, I had sent in our request to council. I believe that's the next slide. I think it is up. So on December the 10th in the evening, I sent in a request to council asking for snow plowing services and municipal services to be extended to our property. So and I said a couple of points in there, and one that it stops at 125 North Shore right now, and I'm asking it to continue on 160 meters to 141, and that during my conversations with the chief building official, there was a couple of things that stuck out in my mind. One was that we would have 911 services, and so clearly as a full-time resident, we'd like to have 911 services, and I wouldn't want them adversely delayed by any snow plowing that had not been done. Secondly, that there was no turnaround. Circumstances change and evolve, right? So I presented, Alex, the next slide there. This is our place, a picture of our place. And so during the creation of the shore well, you can see that my car is parked across the road. And so I have the consent from the owner of 145, which is next to my place, to use his driveway and the lot there across the road for a turnaround. So I sent that into council as well for consideration. So next slide, please, Alex. So on the 13th of council, 13th of January, 2025, my wife and I tuned in to watch what happened at council with our request, and it was deferred to public service or Public Works for to be examined. On January the 16th, the operations supervisor reached out to me, and so attended our location, but unfortunately from the photo that you saw there earlier with our car parked there, that was December the 31st of last year, and we didn't have any snow. So it been considerable snow that had accrued between the 31st and the 16th of January. so our neighbor appeared on our behalf to for that meeting. And so on March the 3rd, I received a follow-up phone call as I reached out to the operations manager in terms of an update. Where are we at? And so it was told at that time that although the area wasn't totally visible, that it wasn't properly aligned to permit a turnaround. And I said, I don't understand. Since I had returned, my wife and I not being here, I had cleaned it all out with my snowblower and everything else such that it could be seen. And so he attended the next day and we saw the area. And at that time, we talked about committed to having the snowplow come down and try the area. It's a pickup truck. And so with the plow on it to try the area. And so we have, to this date, we have not had the plow attend despite a number of requests that I've asked for. So next slide, please, Alex. So why are we here? I mean, ultimately, we recognize that the final decision for services rests with the council. And so and it's important that I bring Confucius said a picture's worth 1,000 words. Video wasn't invented then. So if we could go to the next slide, please, Alex. So this is is it able to hit play there, Alex? So presently we are at 115 North Shore Road where the plow currently turns around. So I am driving towards our place. And so at night, the plow presently backs up from that turnaround to, we haven't reached it yet. So it is just at the start of these bushes, right here where the plow stops and then drives out, backs up to that point. So my request is simply driving forward to our place and our place is, like I say, 160 meters. So it's a backup of 120 meters and then an additional 160 meters to our place. And so our place is paved in front. You come down here and it's a large open area just with the water on the side. And then my neighbor's place here, which I've put some stakes out there, and is at right here is a turnaround. So you can see just how large the spot is, and comparatively it's the same size as the other turnaround, but it's not the same because it's not concrete like the other one is. And so so I just backed up. Obviously I'm driving a Subaru, I'm not driving a pickup. I realize that, right? So but there's ample room for a turnaround. So the next slide and the next video, Alex, if we can see that, the next slide there, please. This is a night shot. And as you all know, we live in the Northern Bruce, right? So clearly backing up at night is not safe. Makes us wonder, right? So safety is a concern about everything that we do, clearly. But I just wanted to show this night shot. So next video, please, Alex. So the video here is of me doing the same thing only at night. So you'll see it's obviously dark. I think it was 10 or 11 o'clock at night that I did this, and just driving on, and you saw how dark it was, and backing up in this point into the 120 meters. So again, understanding that the plow would basically back up to this point. Okay. So my ask is that it just continues on. And you can see the lights of our place there, just ahead. And obviously with markers, and that here we are, and just complete a turnaround here. And I believe that ample room and it's much safer opportunity for the plow to turn around and then just drive straight out. Again, that's just completing the turnaround with my Subaru, right? So next slide, please, Alex. So it's important to know for council, you know, the size of it, right? And so without actually being there, but that it continues to be used by large career trucks such as UPS, Pure Later, FedEx, who turn around in this area. The large garbage truck turns around here every week. And myself, I've used my son's pickup truck at a utility trailer, which measures approximately 35 feet in length. And I use my Subaru with my boat trailer, which measures approximately 40 feet in length and can turn around with no problem whatsoever. So next slide, please, Alex. Just with regards to the no demand for services letter, I looked into it, and we live in something that's called a R2 LMS, with the LMS, as you would know, Limited Municipal Services. Limited Municipal Services starts at 84 on North Shore Road and continues on through the area denoted by the color shading it there. And we are at 141 in the red. And so up until 125 receives services despite it being in limited municipal services. And so even people have signed a no demand for services letter and receive services along North Shore Road. I'm asking for 160 meters to extend to our place, and we've proposed a turnaround that exists there to be used. So we just want to be treated fairly, just like our neighbors are treated. And so just one thing, in terms of taxes, we have not received our final occupancy permit yet. We have received supplemental taxes, so we pay considerably increased taxes now. And so just as and to pay for the services of the extra snow plowing is what I'm asking for. So last slide, please, Alex. So in conclusion, we are requesting that the snow plow travel the other 160 meters to provide services to us. We have shown the route that the plow would take, and an inclusion of the fact that the plow doesn't have to back up, which is, to my mind, far safer for the operator, and the turnaround is fully suitable given the fact that the number of vehicles that currently do use it. And we're just asking to be treated the same as our neighbors in the same municipal zones. So, with our request, I mean, it was submitted for January of last year. And with impending winter, we really would appreciate if we could have those services rather forthwith, so be extended to our property. Subject to any questions, that's our presentation.
All right. Thank you, Freeman. And yeah, if there's typically now what we do here is we do turn it over to our public works and have them present a report to us and following this, so that report can come December the 3rd. I mean, there is our winter control handbook has some information in there, and that can basically be transferred to a report that responds to this request, right? So that's, if there's any, yes, go ahead, Rod.
We do have that on the agenda coming up.
We do,
yeah. So there is a couple of scenarios.
There is, and
yeah.
Probably best for transparency that to come forward as a separate report so that the public knows, Freeman knows, and so we can do that. It can be here in December the What, 6th, is it December the 6th? Or no, December the what? 8th. Okay, December the 8th. All right, so that is 2 weeks? 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So that there's no questions. That's good. We'll have that report December the 8th.
Yeah, okay. My only concern, I mean, the only thing that I have to say is really, we did submit it in January of last year, right?
No report forthcoming.
It'll be coming December 3rd.
Okay,
Or December the 8th, sorry.
so
Yeah.
that's all. So, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So I just want to thank you for your presentation and look forward to the report that comes. And as Rod has indicated, there is an option or two in there. There's a couple options in there. So council will look at those options.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay, thank you. Yeah.
We're voting for no snow.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Well, just to skip the snow. Yeah. Next on the agenda is the Rotary Club of Northern Bruce Peninsula. Catherine Henderson and Gwen Bestard. Welcome. Just didn't want to get back and forth.
Okay. Hello, councilors, Mayor Milt. We initially asked for a delegation because I was under the mistaken impression that our lease was coming up for renewal. But last time it renewed, it was for a period of 5 years rather than 3. So, but we decided we would make a presentation. Basically, I'm not going to read through all the pages that I sent. I'm assuming you've all had a chance to read them. So we just wanted to give you an update on what the Rotary Club has been doing recently. We thank you for your support of Oktoberfest. And as I said in my notes, the Rotary Club has committed all the proceeds from Oktoberfest to be put aside for a fund to put back into the Rotary Hall. So over the last 3 years, we've averaged about $3,000 a year in profit from that event specifically. So that money has been set aside to do things in the building, working with the municipality, of course. And we certainly wouldn't do anything that was structural or in any way going to create any risk without communicating with Mark and council first. So that's basically why we're here. We wanted to thank you for supporting the work that's been done in the hall over the last number of years, which makes it much more appealing and comfortable for people to use. It's a lot of community events happen in that space, and we want to be a part of making that continue to happen and be more successful. So that's basically what we came to say. We don't really have anything to ask of you other than your continued support in maintaining the building and making it an important part of our community.
Oh, thank you, Catherine and Gwen. I went to the end twice. I was waiting to see and ask, but I didn't.
It's a big surprise for you today. It's a gift from us to you.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah.
Mhm.
This is in addition to what Kat has said, just reiterating how very, very grateful we are. Very grateful for the support that we've received from the municipality for the structural changes, for the different things we've done, like the staircase, the windows. Like so many improvements have happened this year. It's a great big thank you for that to happen. And we're looking forward to, as Kat says, putting our funds that we raise towards further improvements and working together to do that. Do you have any questions from what we wrote for you.
Yeah. No, we just, looks like you've got something going on there now. There's a big hole out front, so.
You have something going on there.
It's not us.
You have something going on there.
I thought you caused that big hole, maybe Gwen.
No, we didn't dig it.
No.
We didn't dig it.
No, we
No.
didn't bury anything down there where.
We asked for it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, yeah, appreciate your presentation and appreciate the thank you as well. So
Sincerest thanks.
we can.
Yes, but the windows, because one Christmas party, I had one of those windows.
Rose?
Were you cold?
Oh, yeah.
Were you cold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So continued improvements. It's really made a big difference.
yes. And I would also like to say thank you to the staff because we've had really wonderful experiences working with all of the staff that we've been in contact with. Marcia, Bobby, Lindsay, Mark. Mark has been a huge support to us in terms of some of the planning that we're doing, getting feedback from the inspection from the fire department in terms of things that we can do to make the space safer and better for everyone who uses it. And like I said in my notes too, that we want to make everything that we have available to everyone who uses the space. I know in the past that's been sometimes an issue, and we would like to make sure that it isn't an issue going forward.
Well, thank you. And we always appreciate hearing good news about our staff. So
Oh, your staff are wonderful.
thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay,
And most of them are here. Well, a couple at least. Yeah. And we'll pass it on to the others as well.
thank you very much.
That would be
Okay.
appreciated.
Yeah, would be great.
All right.
Okay,
Take care.
thank you so much.
We'll do agenda items and the CAO report. It's the corporate policy update. And I'm moving seconder to bring that forward. Todd and Rod. And questions on the report. I really liked the summary that well, it did, and it summed them up basically. So that was good. And always good to have our policies updated, of course, as well. And the recommendation is the council receives report CAO 25-20 as information. Call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. CAO report again, Cabot Head project and engagement plan. And so we have a recommendation there. It is recommended the council receive report CAO 25-21 Cabot Head Road draft operational plan and communication engagement plan as information. And that council approves the communication engagement plan for immediate implementation in future. Further, the council endorses the draft operational plan as a conceptual framework only, with the understanding that will be refined following completion of the public stakeholder and partner engagement. So mover and second to bring this forward. Todd? Rod? No? Yep. All right, questions? Comments, questions?
Well, I think it's a good starting place. And so we're going to go to the public, and I'm happy to see it in a timely manner, because I think that if we don't get moving on Cabot Head, we'll lose, there's a lot of people interested in helping or being part of this whole process. So I think it's still early enough that they'll be engaged in it. And I still feel that at least spring and fall, we should have access to the public via vehicles, but we'll find out. And so I support the report as it is. And if there's other adjustments, and let's hope the public comes forward and takes a look, and let's get moving.
All right. Just not able to pull that up. So when is the April, wasn't it? Yes. Okay. All right. So we have a mover and second for the recommendation. Any further questions, comments? Rod?
That's pretty good given the timelining. You had 2 weeks to, it's fairly comprehensive.
Yeah.
I think, you know, the time you had, or you must have had it done before, did you?
No, actually, it was, I wanted to make, because this is it's such a detailed plan, that I wanted to have like an operational plan for the public to at least know a jumping off point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was we just kind of dug deep and just kept moving on it.
Oh, good on you. Yeah, you did a good job.
All right. So we'll call the vote on that. All in favor? Opposed? The motion's carried. Next, we go to the clerk's report and another policy update as in consideration of staff report 2025-27 clerk's department policy update. Council directs staff to bring forward a bylaw to repeal bylaws 2024-57, being a bylaw to adopt a civil marriage services policy in 2024-58, being a bylaw to adopt a commission document policy. Mover and second for that one. Smokey. Rod. Once again, policy update, which is great. No questions? Questions? Call a vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion's carried. Item D, Parks and Facilities Manager Report, our PF 2025-20, and its Seniors Community Grant Application. And the recommendation is the council receives the Parks and Facilities Report PF 2025-20 Seniors Community Grant Application Digital Literacy Project with Connected Canadians as information. And that council supports and approves the submission of a funding application to the 2026-27 Seniors Community Grant Program in partnership with Connected Canadians to enhance digital literacy and technology access for older adults across the municipality. Mover and second for that one. Todd, Rod, any questions on that one? It's a great idea. Yeah, bringing some money back in. So hopefully we're successful. Call a vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion's carried. Number E. Public Works Manager Report, Winter Control Handbook. So here we are here. There is some information in here. And there is a recommendation here, but maybe we've had 3 requests to extend winter maintenance, and there's been one approved. This is the one approved within this report. And so we'll just have a mover and seconder to bring it forward. Rod, Todd, and then we'll just open it up to comments, questions. And we should hear from our public works. Yeah, and you can speak to, I guess, if you can, yep. Lindsay to the rescue.
Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Mayor McGeever. Yeah, certainly. As you heard from presentation, the delegation today, that we did have a request from 141 North Shore Road to continue that service on. Scott Core, Operations Supervisor, did review the site probably 2 or 3 times, and also had our operator that currently does the snow removal there go down with the current equipment that we're doing, and he was uncomfortable with the situation to turn around. It is a bit narrower, or not as long an area, smaller area than what we currently do, and also that it's not totally lined up each side of the road, and there's a shore well. So the area that's on the lake side of the road incorporates a shore well. So of course, when you have snow on the ground and our operators are out there in the dark, it's very difficult to see those hidden objects that are covered in snow. So they're worried about damage, like damage to private infrastructure. So I'd like to, if it's okay, just have our operations supervisor, Scott, elaborate a little bit more, because Scott was the one on site that met with Mr. Sweazy. And also to point out that we did meet with Mr. Sweazy's contractor regarding a wall. And we try to keep any infrastructure 3 meters off of the edge of the road. And this is for safety reasons and also so if somebody goes off the road and hits a private infrastructure. I know we have a very narrow road platform back there, but also we do try to keep that off the road for just any maintenance activity, not just winter maintenance activity, but because you're trying to run graders and stuff like that. So anyways, I'll turn it over to Scott now. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So good afternoon. So the first thing is the property at 141, which is the Sweazy property. When I first went out and I met with their neighbor, Andy Block, I took a tape measure. I had measured the extent of the 1 ton with the plow on it, and that truck measures in length about 10 meters long. When I went out to the property, we measured from the water side where the property would drop off the 10 meters, and that put me essentially back at their retaining wall. So that's without any snow, that's without any room to turn, anything like that. So that's when the idea came up about the neighbor's driveway at 145, which, first I would say we would need permission and whatnot to be able to use that. The second thing there was, as much as there's a bit of room across the road, it doesn't line up fully with the driveway. So the driveway and the piece across the road that you would need to turn around, besides there being a shore well, that doesn't line up fully with the driveway. So it does limit somewhat the turning, and then it drops off down to the water. So we went through that. Now, the only thing I think I could add for you is perhaps some measurements on all of this, but it just doesn't really facilitate the plow turnaround safely. That was my view, and I had relayed that to them. I also had Darren go down and just have a look at this to see if there was something he was seeing that we could do differently, a way to accommodate this. And he just came back and he wasn't comfortable with it. For one, it's getting down there, and you've seen from their video that you've got to go down around the bends. That's also downhill as you go down around there. And it's narrow, there's proximity of hydro poles and so on. So it just makes it not a good circumstance there. And he wasn't comfortable taking that on. And so as an identified safety issue that not only I thought, but then he thought as well, that's where the recommendation, we just said, like, it's just not practical for us to do it with that truck. So.
All right. All right. So any further question, Rod?
So is that road, it's no demand for services, but it's not up to any municipal standard in terms of width and it's obviously been around now 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
It's part of the problem, right? So one of your options was, and I guess we've done this other place, is sending down a snowblower. Which I would think is probably the only option. Just a couple of things. He is right. He does pay the same taxes as the guy down the street, and he should sort of get the same services. I think it's going to be a problem, not a problem, but many occurrence as more and more people retire and move to their dream home built on a substandard road. We're going to have to deal with how do we keep them open, and he does have a point. 911 calls, fire calls. If it's one thing when you were 35 to trek back 160 meters with your backpack to spend the winter, but 65 would, it's a little, not something you really want to do. So I sort of support looking into the snowblower option a little more. And I think, again, I'm sure we're going to get a lot more. I mean, we did have requests. I can remember the first council I was on, 2000, I guess. No, Kitchen North.
Yes.
Kitchen North. We ended up, we ended up, because we ended up with a lot of people living here around there. And we need to snowblower and that sort of thing. And I guess, we'll come to it. Yes, I'll deal with this. The Cameron Lake one I want to talk to too, but that's my thoughts that we should. And then I forget what the number was.
250.
250. So how do you think, Troy, does that stand up? 250, does that sound good?
Well, currently there's not very many snowblower contractors that does private laneways that have the 5 million liability insurance. So insurance is a big thing for any contractor. So what we did was reach out to one of our current contractors that is already currently doing snow removal contract for us with the tractors and blowers and sidewalks, just to get a price for an estimate for council. So that's the biggest issue is and we ran into this problem in other areas that we end up having to take over the services with municipal forces because the private guys couldn't get the amount of insurance for doing municipal roads because of the liability. So right now, I know this, we could make this work with the snowblower in that area under this current snow removal contract that we have, which is good for 3 years, because the one contractor does have resources in the area, which is doing private stuff, but his insurance covers his municipal, like he carries the amount of liability that going forward, as we all know, it's getting tougher and tougher to get contractors. So if we did go in this direction, we would just have to be aware of in the future that we might have to gear up ourselves with a different type of equipment to do these other services, because we might have a harder and harder time to get contractors to carry that liability.
That's sort of my next point. Yeah. And a couple, 3-5 years from now, are we in the snowblower business? And is that something we should be sort of gearing up towards? Maybe
I guess we do a little bit of snow blowing now.
Currently we do have a snowblower in Lion's Head that does, it does a lot of parking lots. Well, we kind of share services between it and the 1-ton, whether it's for William Street and Hawthorne, they work together as a tandem to do parking lots and that. So we do currently have a snow blower tractor with snow blower. However, it is pretty busy in town. Now, this price that we did get a quote for was to actually do the whole section of North Shore Road. I wanted to point that out too, but through discussions and through what I have witnessed, it wouldn't cost much more to do the whole road as it does that last. I measured it at 200 meters further than we normally go. Mr. Sweazy had it at 160, but I mean, so I think you might say $50 a trip, but even what we're doing now is not ideal for the situation or for the equipment that we have. We're still turning around at a pretty small spot. And we're still also backing up about 100 meters, which for operator safety and the public safety, we try not to back up. We try to create, that's not the turnaround. So,
and Troy, in that area, the walls and stuff are so close.
Oh, it's really close. Yeah.
So for plowing, it's not ideal.
It's not. It's actually a snow blower would be the proper, in my opinion, would be the proper equipment to do. But we just didn't have. We used to try to do it so far with a tandem truck and then back out, but it just was the safety and we were getting so many calls in the spring because we were, because the snowplow is so much wider, and I mean the things are right at the edge of the road, like tile beds and walls and other personal, landscaping features. So
the emissions of the past are coming back to haunt us now. And I mean, there's lots of that happening, isn't there? Where 50 years ago, build your cottage there. Yeah. We'll never see you in January. Well, now here they are with their, Yeah, right. Those Subarus and they went in there, right?
And I do agree that in the future, we are going to get more of these requests. You could see it coming. And so I just want to be upfront that, you know, if you got to be, that's why we are staying firm with our recommendation. If it's not safe for the operator to turn around, then if we don't have a proper turnaround, then we can't be recommending to you to do it with the equipment that we have.
So really the only option is, or the only two options are do nothing or snow blower.
Yeah, far be it for me to tell anybody, my brother, my dad, both in construction trucks, whatever, like to say, oh, I can do this with my pickup and whatever. And when there's snowbanks, and that's right on the water, right? So you're going to get some pretty severe blow winds, I would assume. The only thing that makes me a little bit question it is there any legitimacy to that they weren't informed that you can talk to your neighbors or whatever, that they weren't informed that there was no services on that road?
I can't speak to that fully, but I do believe that the cottage has been in the family for quite some time. So I think that there was, I believe that there was knowledge that there was no snow removal in the area.
Okay, so we're looking at either saying no or look at a blower situation, which we'd have to see about cost. Okay, thank you. That was just sort of wondering how legitimate that was. Thanks.
Just to your point, Smokey, that no demand for services thing probably isn't going to stand the test of time. And you know, I mean, it was legitimate years ago, but as more and more people say, "Hey, we're paying $6,000 a year to be here. Why don't we have a snowplow or a dump truck, garbage truck, or you know, whatever going by?" And that's
no. Last term we did have some conversations with people about the legitimacy of that. And I guess we could look at that again, but maybe more paperwork needs to be done on that.
Any comments, Todd?
I would fully support looking at snow blowing because I think it would be much better than using a 1 ton anyway on that road.
I agree. Yeah.
And how do you just stop at 121 when they're in the same situation? So
That's my other point. It's gonna set a precedent.
Yes.
So we start doing this and then somebody else in another area would have to be looked at from a legal standpoint as well, because then it's, well, they're getting this and you're using that. And I think we'd have to be very careful with setting the precedent.
All right, and we do have another issue, Swan Lake Lane. You're approving that one.
Yes.
And the one in Cameron Lake that Rod referenced, Troy.
Yeah. That's correct. So we did review the one at Swan Lake Lane, and we feel that we can do it with the equipment that we have because there is a proper turnaround there at the end. There's lots of room to turn around.
Lots of room, yeah.
So, and to try to be consistent, our recommendations have always been based on the safety of the operator and the public for turnaround. So we try to keep it that we can't recommend it unless there's a proper turnaround. And that goes for the same as Cameron Lake. Right now, we currently push in there the 2 lengths of the truck and then back out onto the road, which is not ideal, but it was a level of service that we have been providing for quite some time. So it's just, we try to make it work with what we do. But when there's further requests to go further and around the corner, kind of like the same idea, Cameron Lake Spur is quite a bit shorter. But it also is turning a corner and backing up a hill again. So we're just trying to be consistent.
So is there any, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask a question that you mentioned that the Cameron Lake had a potential of an open road allowance T turn or something.
Yes.
And I guess just add on to that section of the road that we would be plowing is municipal road. It's not a private road. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Cameron Lake Road Spur, there is the opportunity there to create a large enough turnaround, in our opinion, if you utilize the unopened portion of the road allowance. North Shore Burro Bay, there just isn't enough landscape. So
Yeah. You're either wrong.
Yeah. So with regard to the Cameron Lake thing, the gentleman, one of them had phoned me and said something I wasn't quite sure if he was, I don't think he's there permanently, but they would like access early in the spring. Maybe you guys know more about that than I do, but.
Yeah, Scott is also, I believe met with them on site at least once, maybe twice. And, yeah, they currently, I don't think reside there, but they would just like to see snow removal. But not only snow removal, they would like to see garbage pick. You know, once you hit one service, they want to receive the rest. Currently, they take their garbage and waste and recycling out to the main part of the road. So yeah, that's, do you have anything to add to that, Scott?
No, I met with the resident at 224 on the spur there. And when I went up there to meet with them, the resident at 226 came out as well. So I ended up having a bit of a party there at the corner. So they went through everything, and really, if we had a proper turnaround there, which I think there's real estate to create one, then I think that could be accommodated. As to how that takes place and what sort of cost implications and all of that, I mean, that's to be determined, but.
So it's not going to happen. I mean, no, but you're right, something that you look at next.
And actually,
year.
That resident I did speak to on Friday morning, he had called me again, and I had told him that, he's not being ignored. It's just there's a process to go through, and we have to have some conversations and so on. So I just did tell him that there won't be anything change in the immediate future here, but down the road, there's perhaps an opportunity to make it happen.
So did you discuss that option with them, Scott? Or
well, just about there being a turnaround. Since then, Troy and I have looked at it as to what we really have for real estate there with the unopened road allowance, and ideally it would become more of a T or like a hammerhead type style.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal way to create it because it's easier to get rid of a lot of the snow and turn the truck around. So. If we did put something together and then talk with them, if they're in agreement, then I suppose we could make it happen, but that's all stuff to be talked about yet.
Right. So is it narrow too as well, or?
Not like North Shore Barrel Bay, no, but it is narrow. And the issue with just going all the way in and then backing out is the total length would be roughly 100 meters that you have to go, but it's downhill and around a bend.
Yeah.
And you're going to the left, which means all your snow comes off the right side, which ends up all in their driveways. So I've explained to them that they're going to have a wall of snow to clear or crawl over or whatever they want to do. They did mention that they're not there full time at this point, but they want to spend more time and use the property in the winter because they don't go to the States anymore and whatnot. So, it's like I said, I just said we need a turnaround to be able to do that properly and safely.
All right. Yeah. Troy.
So if I could add to that, in the past, the requesters of the extended level of service, have always borne the cost of creating the turnaround. That's what we have done in the past. I mean, so that's kind of what we explained to that, but you would have to take that cost on yourself to turn around. I mean, we try to work with the residents, so it's not, you're not asking for, you don't need a turnaround where you can turn a tractor trailer around, but nothing that you can safely turn around. I know one of the past requests that have come in, a Hawthorne drive, the residents there created the hammerhead that was large enough at their cost. So I just wanted to point that out.
Right. Just roughly, what are you talking expense or something like that? Just
Depends on the area. I don't
like $15,000.
I would say less, but yeah, I would say 10 was the number that come to my head right off the bat, but 10 to 15 would probably be a fair number.
All right. Let's see.
So just one more thought here. I guess we really got to start wrapping our head around how we're going to deal with, and I'm almost positive we're going to get these 2 or 3 a year, if not more. And it looks like we're doing it on a case by case basis. That's really the only way to do it.
It is because they're all so
Yeah,
different,
yeah.
and so it's kind of a case by case basis, I guess.
And I mean, there are some people on these roads that don't receive winter maintenance that I have heard from them that said they don't want winter maintenance because if they're not there, they don't want the opportunity of, people driving.
Yeah.
So there's 2 sides to each story too, right? So to every request. So, but I do agree with you there. We're going to receive more and going forward. Yeah.
So, I guess there's recommendations in this handbook. And how do we want to proceed with this? Or how do you think we should proceed with this as the clerk? So if we were to change some of this, are we considering that or yes?
You know, my thought would be on the North Shore Road one would be the snow blower option. On the Cameron Lake thing would be presenting the option with some hard facts to the people that are there, realizing that it's not going to happen this winter and maybe not next, but that's her option. So that's my thought on those 2.
All right, let's see. Todd, where are you on this?
I agree with what Rob said.
Smokey?
Yeah, don't you think with the snow blower option, that puts us in a position then where we're having to provide that in other areas and I mean, right now we got maybe someone that might do it for 3 years, right? Like on the long term, unless we're going to change how we operate and how we do snow removal within that time.
And yeah, who knows? We may have to, with Troy, as Troy suggested. I mean, private people, you just can't get insurance. So you have to depend on these contractors that are presently paying this insurance.
Yes.
I mean, the other option is for the homeowner to contact someone and say, and then it's done by them. But they probably look at that option, I assume, and yeah.
It looks like I have a mover and seconder for that.
Yeah.
For that. So is Mom never joined us? All right, so we have a mover and seconder, and just speaking to that, I have to agree with Public Works. I don't think the present system of doing it is the best. The plow option because of the obstructions on the road.
Right.
And because last winter there was a bit of an issue, wasn't there?
Yes.
Getting some, like moving some things. And,
yeah. There has been times in the past where we had to take a blower or try to get the grader in this narrow road because it drifts in so bad there, especially if you get ice on Georgian Bay, on Barrow Bay. It really drifts in bad along the.
Yeah, I don't imagine it'll be a cheap option by any means, but.
What exactly then is the motion?
The motion would be that we look at snow blowing North Shore Road.
So just an investigation.
And you'd have to, you would have to identify the numbers. They're identified in the report. And Swan Lake Lane is being approved within the report. And the Cameron Lake issue is discussion with the property owner with regards to the real estate that we think that we know we have, and he has options there to create a hammerhead turnaround.
So could would you like a separate report or could we just change the recommendation within this report?
We're looking, I told the delegation that we would bring forward a separate report.
Okay.
So, and I kind of look to our staff maybe for guidance on that. Bring forward a separate report, and within that report, that option would be presented. That could also be included in this, I guess, or we could, we can include that in this report, winter control handbook, or we can defer this winter control handbook and pass it at the next meeting. whatever you,
To make this whole item cleaner, my recommendation would be that we defer the winter maintenance book until the next council meeting. Public Works Manager bring forward a report regarding the delegation presentation and amendments to the winter control handbook.
all right, that'll be what we'll do. We'll look for a deferral on this. And do you want some motions today with regards to that, or we just direction to staff?
I think just direction staff, council.
Okay. All right, so we'll look. So this here, item number E, we will look for deferral on that one. Hoover, do we have Hoover and second? Who was it? Are you okay with that? Deferral? Call a vote. All in favor? Opposed, the motion's carried. F is Works Manager again, and it's the Water Wastewater Master Plan, Public Information Session, Public Comment Summary. And this report here is, recommendation is we receive that as information. Mover and seconder for that to bring it forward, Smokey and Todd. Questions, comments? So actually reading the public comments was interesting, and it's kind of, you can see where developers are, of course, favoring services, whereas the majority of residential people are not usually. So yes, Smokey.
Is there any indication, are we going to maintain where the, it's going, or is there any movement to include some of the areas that were presented by the comments?
Next steps. What is the next steps?
So we wanted to bring the next steps forward to council just as for your information. So to see the advancement within the project. Staff's recommendation is that we would expand the boundaries of the current study area. As you're aware, a lot of the comments about expanding the study areas were from developers. And it is usually best practice in other municipalities that the developers would be responsible for their own studies within the development zone. So an expansion, we welcome them to move forward on completing their own master plan EA studies. And we're happy that they have informed us because it'll help us size our sections of property.
All right, so then I guess, so what are we going to do next? Like, what's?
So currently right now we are completing the master plan and providing that to council. Up on the table for public comment. This was just we did promise council when we move forward with this project that we would keep you as informed as possible. And this is part of that.
Part of that process.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so any other questions on that? I'll vote. All in favor? Opposed, the motion's carried. Other business. Other business. Hearing none. Mike Campbell, correspondence. We'll just go down the list here. Mike Campbell, future of Cabot Head Road. Mike gave his thoughts on the process, his ideas. Item B. Soggy First Nation. And I'm not going to try and pronounce that word because I probably can't. It is they're informing us that they're taking over children's services. Right? And it's a process. It's going to be a bit of a process, but that's the end goal. Item C is the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, fighting delays, building faster. United Way, Bruce Gray is radio bingo. And they would like something from us to, oh, it actually is working. So we would be, so where do you want to go with this? Where do we want to go with this? So
Sorry, my computer keeps,
yeah, mine just came back. It's went out for only.
you're on item D?
Eh?
Item D.
Yep, it is. So thank you for considering a request. So how do we have to consider this? Your formal approval in the form of a letter to United Way will assist us in moving forward responsibly and transparently.
I think if council wishes to pass a motion in support, that would be sufficient and we could circulate that motion to them. It looks like that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. So do we support this, or I guess it's a way for them to make money, right? So United Way does a lot of good work.
I don't see a lot of downside, like we have our own bingo, but I mean, it's a different thing. So it's more of a social thing. This is United Way and Bayshore Broadcasting, and it's on the radio all the time. And if people want to play, and we have to give permission for them, I guess.
Well,
I didn't understand that it had to have municipal approval,
I
but
just think they want to make sure that
we're okay with
we're okay.
people gambling on the air.
Yeah, move by Smokey.
Yeah.
Second.
I'll get trouble with my ladies auxiliary.
They're all doing one day.
Everybody mad at me.
Any questions or comments on that? Call the vote. All in favor? Yeah, bingo. Yeah, great. Next one is the town of Brantford, West Wellenberry. Removing HSC from new homes to support housing affordability. They were talking at first about I think the ministry is or whoever it was. We're talking on first time home buyers, but this has taken it one step further to all new. Oh, no, it's gone again.
I think it's taken a little farther. Like we already, people are trying to build a house. And I'm just thinking, if this went on to like developers, I don't know. I don't know. I agree, first time home buyers.
Yes, I agree too.
And
It really was passed on to them.
yeah, and that's fine. But for
Everybody.
all new homes, well, purchases, primary residences, I don't really know, to be honest.
I think it's taken it maybe a step too far.
I say we would just do not support it this time. Maybe we'll hear more about it from somewhere.
What's your, yeah. Then the township of I've never heard of this one, Chapel. Not sure where that is. Elect, respect, and
It's near Berwick, wherever that is.
Yeah. This is not a bad idea, but I mean, it's what really should happen, but what's your wish on that one? Moved by Rod, second by Todd. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Opposed, the motion's carried. That reaches the end of correspondence. So items A, B, C, and E as information. Moved by Smokey, second by Rod. Any questions or comments? Call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. Closed session. The council move in a closed meeting with the CAO and clerk in attendance pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons: labor relations or employee negotiations. And it is union negotiations.
And Milt, this is where I will declare conflict. I've put a
Okay.
form in because my husband is a union member.
Perfect.
He
All right.
doesn't like me to tell him what to do even at home. So
Okay.
probably wouldn't like me to get involved in this either.
All right, reporting from closed session. Council met in closed session with the CAO and clerk in attendance to discuss labor relations or employee negotiations, specifically related to union negotiations. And council accepted the closed session minutes for November the 10th, 2025. And direction was given to the CAO. That concluded our in-camera discussion. Next on the agenda is bylaws. And our clerk has pointed out to me that item B on there was deferred, so we will not be dealing with item B of bylaws 2025-80. That was deferred. And we will go with bylaw 2025-77, civil marriage services. Item C is bylaw 2025-81, and is zoning bylaw Rydall, and a confirmatory bylaw 2025-78. And mover and seconder ballot and Smokey. Call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. Motion to adjourn. Rod. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Our meeting is adjourned.